So, 4 steps, 7 through 10. You're going to do the process assessment, client preparation, the interviews, and the verification. So, talent assessment, what do we do? Have you ever noticed when you bring people in for an interview, they may have been coached by somebody? Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second. But the first thing we do with our client is we want to prepare them. So we actually sit down and we do what's called a benchmark interview. So we go out, we pick somebody from that, usually from that group that we've just talked about. We'll pick them, we'll bring them in, and we'll interview them. It's a benchmark interview. And in that benchmark interview, we're going to make sure that we understood the process completely, we understood the project completely well, and we're going to make sure that we're getting the fit. And this person that we interview as a benchmark may go forward in the process, or they may not. 9 times out of 10, they go forward.
On an aside note, you don't tell the person that they are the benchmark interview.
Yeah, okay. Good point. It's art and science, and the art was what we just talked about. The science is using the tools that our hosts today, if you want to know more information, you can talk to them about. You have to make sure that when you're using tools, you use tools like Great People Inside that can be adjusted to your culture and your organization. You can use almost any tool, but if you're looking for a set of tools that's going to conform to discovering what the best fit is for your organization, Great People Inside does a job like none other.
And that's the beauty about this tool, because you can customize it for your particular organization, for your particular positions. So
talent assessment, it's yours.
Yep. Client preparation.
I was told.
Just a second, David, here, on your right. 5 minutes reminder, because we are running over time. Thank you.
Okay, so client preparation. Often the candidates, you'll see they have coaches, and they go before their interviews, and they get prepared for interviews using coaches. Well, we coach our clients. So every step of the way, we meet with them. At every time there's a process that goes through, and we explain to them in detail what we're looking for. We give them feedback on their behavior, their questions, and we continue through the whole process that way. Very important. We also do this with people who are going to be, anybody who's going to be in contact with that candidate. It could be the secretary, it could be the receptionist, it could be a driver that's picking them up at the airport, that they have to know that we are courting this person now, and they're very important, and how to be able to speak with them properly.
So that VP of marketing search we talked about, we took it from 151 down to 12, down to 5. By the time they actually got to do interviews, because this is the funnel, we knew that they'd read the profession profile, they'd gone through the confidential candidate brief, they'd had the initial phone screen, and now they were getting interviewed by ourselves. So 2 recruiters interview every candidate all the time. 1 asks questions, 1 take notes.
The next interview is with the search chair and the lead recruiter. We're looking for the fit, interpersonal skills, and we really get deep into the confidential candidate brief and previous success and failures. Now we're looking for discrepancies.
The hiring manager, the next interview is actually with the hiring manager. So we get the candidates to interview with the hiring manager before the search committee, because we want to know what the hiring manager thinks. We don't want the search committee to know what they think. I got my 5 minutes there. We don't want the search committee to know what the hiring manager thinks. And there's a reason for that.
The next interview is with the search committee, but without the hiring manager, because we don't want the hiring manager to be able to influence in any way the feedback that we're getting from that search committee. Usually the hiring manager is somebody who is senior to them, and they'll be the decision makers, but we want to have an honest feedback from this search committee.
And the last interview, and it usually comes down to 1 candidate, sometimes 2, they come in and they present to the entire search committee, this is my 100-day plan. This is what I understand the job to be. This is what I'm going to do at this time and this time and this time. So that when we're finished this and we hire them, we have a plan already in hand. And this is what happens when somebody applies for a job and they lie and they get the job.
They get caught in the middle.
And if you want more information on how to find liars and do references, that's available off our website.
The other thing we put in is we also use emotional intelligence testing, and we usually use this just to use it as a validity tool to back up the references. You know, when you go for a reference, people give out their references, people that they know they're going to get positive references from. Well, when you do the EI testing with it, then you'll see if it matches.
And at the end of the process, at the end of this stage, you have a candidate that you know can do the job, they want the job, they've already met all the other executives, they've all agreed on what the plan is, and they just go. And deal making. Here's what you have to remember about deal making, okay? The golden rule is, gold by itself doesn't matter. You have to connect with them emotionally. It's not me now. I'm going to skip that one. What you have at the end of this is you have a very excited person who wants to join your team. Onboarding. When you write the job description, when you do the position profile, what you're trying to do, or what you're doing at the front end is deciding what the objectives are and the milestones that we want the people to meet. This all gets put in the final draft so that they understand how they're going to get paid, why they're going to get rewarded, and the KPIs are all there. And at the final end?
Right, at the end, we put together a document, or we put together an entire process. Once the person is hired, the candidate is hired and is onboarded. During that onboarding, we have another meeting with the search committee, the search chair, everybody who was involved, and we put together a document going through the entire process again. They keep this document, they have all the steps in it, everything that they've used throughout the process, so that they can duplicate this if they want to. They can ask us questions, they can call us back, but this is what we leave them with.
And in the end, what you have is a candidate who joins your organization who's now unrecruitable. We've never had a candidate that we've placed be recruited out. It's impossible.